Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Duxford in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And of course this is Chico Mix Duxford. I'll put a link to it down below. It's a wonderful place and he's working on a new version for 2024. But in the meantime we've got this slightly updated version of the original one so that we can still be here, because this is a great place to be, and it is the place to be when it comes to doing warbirds, and that's what we're going to do today. Really excited about this one. I'm a huge fan of the T6. Flew it a lot in P3D and FSX with the A2A simulations T6. I've been very lucky to fly from here, Duxford, in Wacky Wabbit in the real thing, and I'll put a link to that video down below. But today we are trying out the Asobo T-6D improvement mod, which is from RandallSnow. I'm sure that's a name you've heard of. He's well known within virtual warbird circles. And I haven't had a look at this yet. And I've heard a lot about it. And I didn't really touch the Asobo T6 because I flew it once, maybe twice, and it just didn't grab me. It didn't feel like what I was used to. But Randall has come in and he's made some changes and tweaked it, and hopefully this is going to feel more like the kind of T6 that I used to fly and give it some life. We need our aircraft to have life in them. We need to feel that they're living, breathing aircraft and they've got something about them, rather than just kind of like a kind of a sterile computer game version. So really interested to see what Randall's done. Anyway, enough of my waffle in this section anyway. Let's jump in and have a look at this wonderful aeroplane. Rightio, well here we are, and it's I have to say it's nice to be back in the T6. It is a lovely aeroplane. So what have we got in this mod at the moment? What has Randall managed to build in at this stage? Because as I said, don't forget this is a work in progress, and it's obviously very much a labour of love as well, the amount of detail he's putting into it. So first, two things to quickly talk about. The dome spinner is modelled, and the geared doors are also modelled. So if you remember how we looked originally from the outside, we have neither. And now if we jump back in, and I now press these two buttons here, there you go. We've got the dome spinner and we've got the undercarriage doors on as well. I normally don't fly the T6 with the dome spinner on, but you know what? I'm going to fly this one with it on, because if Randall's put it in there, then it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? So, but I will get rid of the undercarriage doors. I don't know why. It just feels right. Okay, now the other thing I quickly want to show you is this, which is kind of cool. There is no sound for the canopy closing. However, if you listen to the outside sounds, you'll see how they change. You can see how quiet it is. And then to open it, we right click and then left click and drag it back. That's pretty cool. It's great that you can do that. It certainly adds to the immersion, which is at the end of the day what we are looking for. So what else have we got in the mod? Engine sounds have been tweaked. We've got realistic primer logic, prevent starting when engine is not primed properly, and changes based on air temperature, and there's further improvements that he's got planned for that. Engine airframe vibration resonates through instruments, canopy and rudder pedals. Love that, adds to the life of it. Completely functional rear cockpit with new camera definition. So let's just have a quick look at that. If I now go up to the top, and we go to pilot, and we go to co-pilot, and there we are sitting in the back. Let me get rid of that. So this was the view that I had in Wacky Wabbit, and it feels quite authentic. You've got the A-frame there in the front with the back of the pilot's head, and again, that's kind of how it was. It certainly brings back memories, that's for sure. So nice to have that modelled as well. Let's jump back to the front. So again, back to cameras and pilot. There we go. Okay. We've got custom ground handling physics based on input of a real-world T6 pilot owner. A revamped flight model with CFD and soft body physics. Revamped engine model to match real-world performance within 3% margin of error, which is pretty damn good. Revamped starter switch logic, which allows real-world startup procedure. And pilot avatar visibility toggle, that's only for 2020 users. Rudder trim orientation corrected. Tail nav light emissions corrected. And revamped flaps logic, which more closely matches the real system, and again there's more improvements to come there. Once we're in the air, I'll talk about what what Randall calls the major to-dos are, and also a few of the bugs that are in there that he's aware of that he's trying to fix. As I said, this is a labour of love that he is still very much working on. Okay, so what we're going to do is just nice simple takeoff, let's hope, and then just fly in the area a little bit, and then we'll do a couple of landings, I think, and just see how that actually feels. Right, so get the checklist. Incidentally, in the mod folder there is a documentation folder, and there's a nice checklist in there. It's very similar, if not the same as one that I used to use with the A2A T6, and I just printed it off on some A5 card. And it's pretty cool. Right, so pre-flight inspection, control lock on for towing. We're not towing. Magnetos are off. Gear handle is down, and checking my physical gear handle on my controls as well. Walk around we've done. Rear cockpit secured as required. You're right in the back, aren't you, mate? Eh? Yeah, he looks a little bit worried, but he'll be all right. He's got a sense of humour. Right. Before start checklist, control lock released and stowed. It is. Seat rudder pedals adjusted. Well, we can't do that, but let's pretend we have. Fuel selector on, so I'm going to put that to, for start, I'm going to put that to, put my teeth in. Reserve tank, there we go. Flap handle is neutral, yeah. Gear handle is down, rudder trim is 2 o'clock, which it is, and elevator trim needs to be 10 o'clock, so we'll just give a little bit, that's a little bit of, there we go, nose up. Where do we get to? Propeller fully aft, so that's going to be course for takeoff. Mixture full rich, throttle is cracked, car bear is direct, magnetos are off. Altimeter field elevation, so let's just wind that. Come here. Get the click spot. There we go. Just wind you back. Get it in the right spot. There we go. What do we get to? Magnetos are field elevation. Oil shutters open. Get that nice and cool. Flight controls, free and correct. Quick look at that. Quick look out the window. Have a look at the back. Elevator. Yep, that's nice. Warm fuzzy feeling. All that's going to be working. Won't get any nasty surprises there. Battery is off. Generator is off. Manifold pressure. Note, manifold pressure is right down there at the bottom. And brakes. Check hold. Yeah, and I can see my parking brake is on. Okay. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because you've got to be fast with the wobble pump and doing the priming as well. So over here we've got the fuel under pressure light, if you like, or lack of fuel pressure, or fuel pressure warning, whatever you want to call it. And that's what we've got to be a little bit careful of. And over here is where we're going to be. This is our manual fuel pump. So that's what we're going to be working on and trying to sort of juggle everything so that everything starts correctly. So let's have a quick look. Right, wobble pump 3 to 5 psi. Well, I don't know. Yep, there we go. So you can see we have got some fuel pressure there, but you see how quickly it drops. We haven't got a light on at the moment because we haven't got the battery on, of course. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, And I'll give it another 2, give it another 3. And I'll give it another 1 of them, so we're nicely primed. Then we can have the, get the generator off, can have the battery on. And then we're going to do the start. So the start in this, the energized switch there, all that isn't working, it's not modelled. So let me just, you see the lights come on now. Let's just pump up a little more pressure. And now we will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Keep that where it should be. Close that. Oil pressure is rising. That's all good. Let's get the throttle down to 600 RPM. We're going to leave it for a minute now, and then we're going to put the propeller into fully forward. I will at this point put the generator on, however. So we've got that. We'll just keep an eye on things down there. Quick look at temperatures. We need our oil temperature to get to 40 before we can start doing anything serious in terms of wanging it around. But yeah, that looks alright. How nice to be at Duxford in a T6. Even virtually. As I say, I'll put a link to that video of flying in Wacky Wabbit below. Wacky Wabbit is a beautiful harbour, of course, which is the Canadian-British name for the T6. Sometimes people do get a bit upset if they feel you're calling it the wrong thing. Right, let's go on to the left tank. There we go. That's all good. Quick look down here. Our temperatures are rising. That's fine. I think we've probably been a minute or so with me waffling, so I'm now going to put the engine to, the propeller fully forward. And then we want the RPM back to 800 for warm-up. So I'm just coming back on the throttle. And we'll just keep that chuntering. There we go. So now we just, we just need the oil to warm up. So you can see the temperatures rising a little bit more now. Really interested with this in terms of the ground handling and also the flight model in the air. Now, my original intention with this video was that I was going to do literally fly it for the first time on the video. Unfortunately, I had some technical issues, not with the mod. I'm pretty sure it wasn't with the mod. I think it was more to probably 2024, which meant that the flights didn't go as planned. So I've had to restart. So I have flown it. I've done one flight in it, and I'll talk about how that kind of feels once we get in the air. But it is interesting. It's been a long time since I've flown the base Asobo one, but I seem to remember it. It certainly didn't feel like it was as alive and as authentic as this one. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it's actually going to be like. Things that Randall has still got to do. So his major to-dos, as he calls it: engine damage modelling, permanence, rough starts, failures, that sort of thing. Implement new prop physics system, fuel system rewrite for accurate reserve tank standpipe behaviour, flap system rewrite for true life function, and then there are some bugs. Known bolt attached to the canopy animation visible near pilot left hip. I didn't see that. Nothing we can do about it. 2024 only. A cockpit model clipping through fuselage. Again, didn't see that. Flaps lever does not move when triggered via hardware inputs. I did see that, and Randall, bless him, I did message him earlier asking him why my Bravo flap lever wasn't working with the animation of the lever there, or not working at all is what I thought, because I hadn't read the bleeding page. And he very politely, without saying to me, "Just read the damn page, you idiot," pointed out that, you know, that's just a known thing. The other thing, 2024 prop hub textures broken due to new propeller handling in 2024. Nothing they can do about that either. So it's just, we are in an experimental phase with 2024, as I know you don't need to be told. So there are going to be some things that are a little bit odd, and that's just the way it goes. Okay, so we are going to call it now. We've got our temperature up, so I'm quite happy with that. Let's have a quick look down here. That's all done. We're still warming up. Generator is on. Fuel gauges, if we look down here, that is saying what, 25. That one is saying 35. That's a little bit odd because as far as I'm aware, they've both got the same amount of fuel in. Let's have a quick look. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's not a huge amount. There's not a huge amount in it really, but I wonder if there's some weird thing kind of going on there with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Who knows? Let's have a quick look over here. So that was the really handy legacy load from Got Friends, but let's have a look what this is saying. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of mirroring that. So I'm not quite sure. It's interesting when you look at that. The number actually is kind of not far off, is it? It's just visually you look at that and it doesn't quite look the same. Okay. Right. Okay. So we've done that. That's all good. Right. So we're going to taxi out. Wind is 2 knots from 269, so it's not too bad at all. One of the nice things now. Release the brake, stick back. One of the nice things now, check the brake, is that we have got more realistic ground handling. So if I use the rudder, it's hardly turning at all really, and that's just the airflow from the prop. It's not doing that kind of gamified kind of, you know, you turn the pedals and you suddenly steer. And if I use a bit of brake, there we go, you can see with the cast string tail wheel the effect that that has, so that's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's just come over here, then we can do our run up. Should have really done our run up back there on the tarmac. We're going to do it properly. Right, so engine gauges, that's fine. Let's have throttle to 1500 RPM. Come back a bit. There we go. Propeller will cycle 3 times. So good. Throttle down to, what's that? Oh, I've got my glasses on. 1800 RPM. We're up to 1800 RPM rather. See the aircraft wobbling like that, it's great. So now we'll do a mag check. So down to left. All good. Now we'll do right. All good, so that checks out okay. We will have a look at the carb heat. Yeah, slight drop there, but that shows that that is working. And then throttles back to 1000 RPM. It does say in the checklist, field barrow greater than 2050 RPM. I've absolutely no idea what that means. If you do, feel free to ridicule me in the comments with what that is. I don't really understand. I don't know if it means that it's asking you to raise the raise the throttle above 2050 RPM at field barometric setting. Maybe. I mean, we can try that. But I'm not quite sure what it's. I guess what it's doing is checking that you've got that power available. Maybe. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, we've done our run-up check, so that's all good. Before takeoff, fuel selector is on. Flaps we're not using. Rudder trim is at 2 o'clock, and the elevator is at 10. So happy with that. Prop is fully forward, mixture's fully rich, carb heat is off, mags are both on, and flight controls are free and correct. Okay, let's line up. Let's get the show on the road. I always find it trickier in 2024 to find the runway at Duxford. It's kind of hidden because of all those patches of daisies. It's not quite so obvious. So I'm kind of pointing where I think it might be. Oh, there's something. There it is. Just see the numbers coming into view there. Okay. It's hard to tell if we're lined up, but I should point it that away. Okay. So, stick back. Have a quick look here at our power settings because the checklist has got that on. Where is it? So takeoff is 36 inches of manifold pressure. And the RPM is bang on where it should be. That's good. Gear up. Back on the power a little bit. And all feels okay. Gears up. That's good. Okay, I think we've got enough fresh air. Let's now close the hatch. Hear that change. We'll come back on the... come back on there a little bit. So cruise is, what, 28? There we go. So, we are going to go and take a look at Fowlmere. This is Burning Blue Design Fowlmere, and we're going to use it to do a touch and go because we'll probably do the practice. So let's see if we can find it first. Should be over here somewhere. There it is. So we'll just tip in and say hello to him. Of course, the Texan or Harvard, depending if you're from Britain or Canada, is quite a heavy old beast, but quite capable, quite capable of getting you where you need to be. Not as sprightly as the Spitfire or the Mustang, but then that's the whole point. It's meant to teach you to fly complex tail draggers. So there's Fowlmere. So let's see where the runway is. Let's come back on the power. Let's dangle the Dunlops. Checking the speed. Let's too far out this, I think. Let's have some flappage. Checking the speed. So we're coming in a slightly jaunty angle, I think is the best way of doing it, but we're doing that kind of curved or angled warbird approach. Just checking. Yeah, flaps fully down now. Watching the speed. She does like a 3-pointer. Because this is quite a short runway, so we will just touch down. There we go, and then power on. Flap up. Here we are. She was actually already airborne. I didn't quite realise that was interesting. There we go. Checking everything is alright. Over this way. And now we can head back to Duxford. Yeah, it was interesting. She took me by surprise getting airborne. I was trying to just raise the tail, and she was already airborne, so she started pointing back at the ground again, which is a little bit hairy when you're already up. So I had to do some quick messing about there. So we'll head back to Duxford, and we'll have a look at the. She feels. You can see the speed comes right off as soon as you point it skywards. You don't have the you certainly don't have the same power to play with that you do with the Spitfire and the Mustang. But as I say, that's the point. This is to teach you to do the fine art of aviating with flaps and undercarriage and all that kind of stuff to play with as well. It's a wonderful aeroplane, the T-6. I hope that someone like Echo 19 does a nice sound mod for it as well, because the Harvard has got such a beautiful sound when it does a fly past. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. It's just an absolutely stunning sound. It really is. So there we have Duxford. So we'll do something of a short aerobatic display. I'm no aerobatic expert, but it gives us a chance to chuck it around a bit. It certainly has more of a solid feel to it. It doesn't feel as jittery as I remember the Asobo one. You know, this does feel like a heavy trainer rather than a light little default aircraft in the sim. How are we doing? Something I will do while I remember is let's switch the tank. And we can tip in, keeping an eye on the speed. speed. It's all about energy management in the T6. Speed. And then we'll black down the runway. Pick up some speed again. Slightly. Looks a little bit turbulent there. You see the speed is rather low. I'm going to try something. It just suddenly occurred to me. Close the all shutter door. See if that makes much of a difference to the speed. Not a lot. Just watching the temperature now. Yeah, really fascinated to see what else Randall builds into this, because I think the potential is huge. The T6 is such an iconic aeroplane. Eye for detail and also eye for quality, I think it can be really interesting. Then people like me won't have to keep banging on about the A2A T6 and how much I miss it. Okay, let's pick up some of that speed. Okay, well, I think it's time to do a full stop. So we'll come back round, we'll do a run in and brake, and then shoot an approach. But it does feel nice. It feels a lot more like what a T6 should feel like than what I remember the default one feeling like. That's for sure. I'd be quite happy to fly this a lot more often, and once there are some nice repaints and the mod keeps getting developed, you just know it's going to be quite transformative. Speed certainly comes off very quickly in this as well, whereas some aircraft, they kind of float for a while. This definitely doesn't. Right, let's dangle the gear, have a look down at our pins. We can watch our pins travelling. They're both down. Kind of cool that they don't do it at exactly the same time. A bit more realistic. Watch the speed. Let's have a touch of flap. You see the flap pin travelling. Go. No drama. Excellent. Okay, let's have flap up. Well, I think it's time to get some fresh air. How are we all looking? The chap in the back is alright, he's been very quiet. There we go. So yeah, all in all, I think that's quite a lot of fun. It's open the window a bit more. It certainly makes flying the T6 a lot more fun. It feels a step closer to the old A2A T-6, and I'm really excited to see what else Randall does. As I said, it's quite an iconic aircraft. And I certainly always used to say, I'm so busy opening the window, nearly went off the thing then. I always used to say, it's a good way to learn to fly warbirds. Do it the old school way. Start with the Tiger Moth, something like Ant's Aeroplane's Tiger Moth, and then go on to the T6. And you'll get that kind of authentic experience, which is what it's about. I don't know. I think warbirds is very much seen as a niche, but I think it's so rewarding, and because there is this path that you can take following that historical kind of training regime, it makes absolute sense to me to have a crack at it. Just having a play here with the ground handling. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot nicer. Okay. Concentrate. So using the differential braking just to bring us round. Just a fuel truck. That'd be embarrassing. I love how you see the tracks in the grass. That is pretty cool. There we go. Right. We are down and in one piece. Let's have a quick look here. Where is it? Okay, shutdown is throttled to 1500 RPM. So we're a little bit low. Propeller full aft. Scabbage 800 RPM. Just listening to the engine. Avionics master off, generator off. Magneto grounding check. Not sure what to do with that if I'm completely honest with you. Bring us down to 600 RPM. Mixture idle cut off. Mags off. There we go. Okay. All we see is wobbling there. So yeah, I think that's nice. He's done a good job of that. It feels more like a T6 that I'd want to fly, that's for sure. It just desperately needs a really good sound pack as well, I think. You know, if Echo 19 did for this as they did for the Mustang, then that would be pretty damn amazing. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful. Don't forget we have a Discord. I'll put a link to that down below. And obviously there's also links down below to Randall's bits and bobs as well. And yeah, great having you along. And I look forward to seeing you on the channel again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.